So we were sent a screener for a new movie called Faye that's coming out November 14th, and it is a found footage film. But don't get excited because it does not have anything to do with like fairies, as one might suspect. I waited for Kaylee on this one because I thought this was going to have to do with fairies. And it was found footage, and I was like, that's like a match made in heaven. It's two of Kaylee's favorite things. But no fairies in this one. The word has a few different meanings. This fairies is attached to that, and I was like, so many fairy movies lately.
Yeah.
Not this one. Okay, so this is about a woman who has suffered trauma. She gets into this study about people who have went through trauma, and she is entering phase 3 of her recovery process. And during that phase, she needs to record herself for the study, and she needs to be alone for the first time since the incident. And there is a nurse or a helper or something that is going to check in on her during this time. And while she is in the midst of this third phase of recovery, she starts investigating something.
Yeah.
Like, that's really all I can say, I guess. So now this is written and directed and stars the person who wrote and directed this is also the person who stars in the movie. I guess is the best way to say that. So that was cool and definitely inspiring, right? It's something we would like to do inevitably. But yeah, okay, so the positives are that I think that the acting is good. I think that people feel natural. I feel like all of that aspect of the film is quite good. I also think that there are some creepy moments and visuals. Not a ton of them, but some of the visuals that we get here. There's some masks that are quite eerie. And we get some good shots there, and that makes for some spookiness to the movie. And as far as like the concept goes, it's been there but done that kind of thing. Of course, a lot of different movies now at this point where we've watched found footage films where it's like, oh, we're doing a sleep study, or we're doing a clinical trial, or you're doing or whatever. Like, okay, that's fine. Unfortunately, this just didn't work for me because I found this movie to have pretty poor storytelling. It's only 50 minutes long, and while I typically am fine with that in found footage, I think this movie would have been much better had they taken at least 20 more minutes, maybe even 30, to really flesh out this character, the before, some of the middle, and the end. I feel like we're missing the whole first 20 minutes of the movie because we kind of just get thrown into it. So let me set the stage really quick. So you have a scene that happens in the beginning, right? This is how quick everything happens. You have a scene that happens in the beginning. It's a few minutes long. It's just someone walking around with a camera, and then something happens, and then they like kind of pause, and then they say 5 months earlier. Then within a minute or less, you are all the way back up to about 10 days before that footage that you saw at the beginning. And all it is a couple little texts on the screen and an interaction between like this helper, nurse, assistant, whatever, and the girl at home, and them kind of meeting but not really having much of an interaction other than like, oh, that's my house, hi, right? And so we're jumping like, whoa, it's like 5 months earlier. Okay, now we're back to where we were. For half the film, I thought we were lapsing 5 months. And then it like dawned on me like, no, 5 months has already somehow passed. So we had to rewind it back to the beginning at the end of this movie to be like, oh, that first minute of the movie after the 5 months earlier is like 4 months and 2 weeks. And I was like, okay, all right. But it's not even that. That's just a snippet. That's just an example of how this storytelling goes. What did you think?
Yeah, well, I agree with you. I think that the acting is really, really, really good for a found footage film, honestly. I found it to be very authentic from pretty much everybody. And I think that there's like some really good shots and like direction in general.
Yeah.
But I do feel like we just don't have enough time with the story because there are a lot of questions and like confusing moments where there's a level of ambiguity that I think is apparent, but it's definitely teetering on the edge of not giving the audience enough to go on, I feel.
Yeah.
Because there was just a lot of questions that I had at the end. We definitely were pretty confused on what the government or medical trial thing that was happening, like why there's just some vagueness around that I think probably should have been clarified a little bit more, because it sort of just feels like an excuse to have her film, which is fine. Like every found footage needs some reason why they're filming, but I would have liked to know a little bit more about like what's going on with that.
Why is she recording herself?
Yeah, like just having a little bit more context I think would have helped. And then as far as like kind of the overall story as to what's going on, like I like it, and it is something that's been done before, but I just feel like we needed more time in general with everything. There's like a good segment of found footage within the found footage towards the end that is kind of explanatory-ish, or sort of like the, I don't know, just a discovery is made and there's found footage involved, and I like that, like, compilation of what we get. But it also, I don't know, I think I wanted a bit more, more to that. So
we're just so in the dark about her investigation, right? Like I genuinely had no idea what she was investigating and really why, for the most part, right? Like I had kind of little tidbits where I was like, okay, I think this is why we're doing this. But typically when you have a movie that is built on this mystery of like, what is she looking into, and where is it all going to lead, or whatever, you define it very clearly, state very clearly. I don't need my hand held, right? There's plenty of movies we watch they're ambiguous as fuck, and I can follow those fine. It's not that. It's like when you're doing a mystery investigation type of film, you want to very clearly lay out what you're doing in the investigation, who the suspects are, what led you to this, how, like, I still don't even really know what happened to her before this, like, the incident that started this whole thing. They say something about it, right? But I don't really know why. I don't know what happened there. And yeah, there, as you said, there's an ambiguity to it, and maybe that's purposeful, and I'm sure it is. It just leaves you way too in the dark. There's so many moments where I'm just like, wait, what are we doing now? And by the end, I don't really know what happened. Like, I kind of get it, sort of, but honestly, like, how do I say this without spoilers? Something happens in the end, and I don't understand if certain characters were involved, and if they were part of it in one way or the other. And what, as I said, it's impossible to talk about without spoilers. So, like, that left me so confused.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, I felt confused the entire film.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking, all right, just be patient. It's only a 50-minute movie. And you shouldn't feel confused in a 50-minute movie, right? Like, there's just not enough time to feel this confused. Like, after 3 hours with a movie, you're kind of like, shit, I can't keep up with all of this. How much information has been thrown at me at this point, right? And also another thing too, really quick, is the very end. And Kaylee's a faster reader than me. The text at the end comes and goes so fast that we literally had to rewind and pause and read. And I was like, man, if you were watching this in the theater, you'd be fucked. You can't rewind it. And what are you going to do? Like, go back to the theater the next week and, like, take pictures and read it? I mean, yeah, you could speed read it really quick, but there was a couple things that I was like, wait, I have to read that again. How many? Right, like, in what kind of things? And I don't know. So, it had promise. I think that this person has talent when it comes to the acting side of things. The direction on some of the horror and stuff works fine.
Yeah.
It's just the storytelling. It's funny because at the beginning of this, it states that this is a compilation of 600 hours of footage that's been whittled down to basically 50 minutes. And it's like, whoever compiled this, the police or whatever, whoever is working at the police station, needs to be replaced, because they needed to add more context to the 600. I want to see the other 599 hours to see what I'm missing here, because there's definitely a lot of things that I am so confused on. So that's it. I'm not going to keep beating a dead horse here. Maybe not. Maybe you won't have that same experience, but this is two people right here that both were trying to pay attention. I wasn't playing with my phone. I just was like, huh? I had to rewind multiple scenes.
Yeah.
That should never happen.
No, it shouldn't.
So, that's that, Faye. Yeah, if you're like a hardcore found footage enthusiast and you want to try to piece this together, and yeah, maybe we'll get comments that are like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I followed this fine.
Sure.
Okay. Awesome. You're smarter than us, I guess. Yeah. More perceptive. But for us, I was lost.
Yeah.
So,
Confused.
Oh well. Let us know if you check it out. November 14th. It should be on all sorts of different streaming platforms. So, see you in the comments. Adios.
Bye.